The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble! You are listening to Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the House of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. He's our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
Yep, I'm here. I might be occupied because my hands smell like cheddar now.
We'll get back to that. Next, he is our backbone, our pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our non-invulnerable brawler, and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
Merry Christmas.
And that's for myself. My name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mary Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show. Oh, say what? What?
I have a Christmas ale too.
Oh.
From Comstock, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure that's how it's pronounced. I don't. I'm sorry.
That's why his hands smell like cheddar.
oh, cheesy. Anyway, we got a great show for you today. We are going to be talking to you all about Inferno, the X-Men event. We're going to talk about issue number 1. And we're also starting to get into the Christmas spirit because we're going to be talking about Ruining Christmas, number 1. So we'll be talking about both of those today, along with the latest in comic book news. And, of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. And we'll tell you how it is. You can let us know what that is in just a moment. But first, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, this show would not have happened. So thanks, Scott. Hope you're doing well, good sir. And yeah, I guess it's time for us to tell you how you can get down with Fantastic Forum. Here's how.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Thank you, intern. We got to make sure we get the intern a Christmas bonus.
Look, there you go again.
What?
I'm trying to get out of 2021, man. Like, dude. Like, yeah.
Let's talk about monetary. How was it?
We said, look, that's even worse.
I thought
you're putting a measurable value on her work, and she's not even supposed to be paid. It's all college credit.
We can't give an intern a bonus?
Also, you're assuming she celebrates Christmas.
Yeah, and you can't. Look, man, I'm gonna be on the phone with Herbert after this.
Herbert, not Herbert.
Yeah.
Herbert Rothstein. His initials is literally HR.
That's a whole other. That's a whole other. It's Ross Blatt.
Ross Blatt.
Ross Blatt. Yeah. So you totally. Hey, now you butchered his name, man. I don't know. Look, we might be a Larry 2022.
There it is. Fantastic Forum on the rise.
Yeah.
There it is.
Our backroom staff will be safe finally.
Well, hey, if you want to get down with the show, do that. This show is interactive. Look, we'll take comments directly out of chat and bring them into the show, such as witty chat comment from Tiger Claw here. Says, "What's up, Fantastic Forum? What are your thoughts on that Sonic the Hedgehog 2 trailer?" Tiger Claw. Guess what, Tiger Claw? I might be more excited than Tiger Claw to see this movie.
Oh, you saw the trailer?
Oh, dude, have you not seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Oh, well, you got to see it right there at where it premiered at the Game Awards. You were going to the
No, I didn't get to see it.
Oh, what happened? That was a sad thing. Like you getting ready to take your business cards and
Yeah.
You expense the outing.
Listen, oh man, it turned out that I had to RSVP by a certain time and I missed it. So such is
classic
life.
Larry.
I had to watch it. I had to watch it at home.
Classic
Look,
Larry.
less than at home. I didn't even watch it on the TV. I watched it on my phone. But that's how good the trailer was. I watched it on my phone and I was like, dude. I'm like, I can't wait for this movie to come out, which is crazy. I never in a million years would have thought that that's something I would have thought about a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. But I saw the first one, and the first one I was like, wow, this movie is really good. I was like, this movie had no business being this good. But
Man,
it was. And then this trailer, I'm like, it did like the opposite of Guardians. It was like all the things that maybe they played down a little bit that I was like, man, I wish there was more of that. I wish there was more of that. They like ratcheted it all up. And I'm like, oh, man, dude. Idris Elba as Knuckles? Dude. It's so good. It's so good. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm not even a Sonic fan like that. But
and
I'm
that's the thing, man. Like, I think I really want you to watch Detective Pikachu, man.
You listen. Okay. I'm gonna go watch Detective Pikachu. I'll make it.
Pikachu.
I'm gonna go ahead.
One at a time. One at a time. Oz, what were you going to say?
No, what I thought you said was not what you actually said. So that's forget it. We'll go back to. It's not. It wasn't dirty, Lawrence.
It was dirty.
Herbert, insight.
Go ahead, Lawrence.
I was gonna say by next show I'm gonna have watched Detective Pikachu.
Okay, because that's a better movie than Sonic.
Did you watch Sonic?
Yeah, I watched Sonic. I loved it. I loved it more than I thought I would even enjoy it, you know.
And Detective Pikachu's a better movie than Sonic?
Yeah, it's a better movie.
There's a lot more heart in that movie.
Yeah, because there's still. Go ahead, Oz.
Even like you can see what's coming a mile away. Like you know what's happening in this movie, but it gets you right in the feels, you know. Right? Right?
Okay.
It'll make your heart grow 2 sizes bigger.
I don't know, man.
And then it's too big. That's like
I'm about to say I don't want to burst my chest.
You don't want to have a enlarged heart disorder.
Yeah, I'm like that kills a lot of people. It's like, jeez. So, but okay, I'm gonna watch it. And look, I'm actually like with you. I know you all have been trying to tell me to watch this movie for a while now. So it's like I'm actually looking forward to it because if you say it's just as good or better than Sonic, then I mean, I know like it has a cast that could pull that off. So we'll see.
And it's a good story. I mean, you got to think also what edges out in Detective Pikachu. It's a closer adaptation to the source material. And
is there a Detective Pikachu?
Yeah, for the DS.
Oh.
The ending is a little different, but but hey, you're gonna have to play the game to find out. I'm not gonna tell you.
There are real people in Detective Pikachu, the game?
There's real people in all Pokemon.
Yeah.
They're the trainers.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I was like, I really don't even think about those people. But Detective Pikachu talks in the game?
Yeah. You have to play the game to find out because I haven't played it. But I believe he does. But
Okay.
it's a different, kind of how Meowth learned how to talk. Like Meowth has his own story on how he learned. And then you gotta at least watch the movie so you know how the talking works.
Okay. Oz, did you watch the Sonic trailer?
Yeah, I watched it.
What do you think?
It's more of the same.
More of the same, right?
More of like the first one, but more of the animated characters that everybody cares about because nobody cares about fake Cyclops.
Why is he fake Cyclops?
Because he died.
Okay.
I would assume you as a someone who blows kisses to his Cyclops posters before he goes to bed, you would appreciate that. I would consider a Cyclops that just dies like a little bitch 5 minutes into a movie would not be a real Cyclops. Now, if you're telling me that, yeah, you agree that he is that much of a little bitch, then, you know, I'll revise my opinion.
No, the movies do Cyclops terrible, like all of them. But
I mean,
you know,
he didn't get beat up by old ladies, so
spoilers.
Okay. So
we reviewed that book, so it's not a spoiler.
Yeah, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Okay, cool. So okay, that's fair. That's fair. Like but it looks super fun. It looks really fun. I'm excited for it. So, you know, I'm with you, Claw. I'm with you. Shoot, I guess. Look, I know we started late. Sorry, folks.
We don't know if Tyler Claw is looking forward to it. He's just asking our opinion.
Yeah,
come on, man.
He's not decrying his love like he does for the Turtles or the Transformers.
Really? We don't know if Tyler Claw wants to see the Sonic movie.
He didn't even bother to add like a clickbaity headline he read to his comment.
That's true.
Usually, that's what he does when he likes something, or he wants us to say, or he wants us to say something in line with what he feels. But right now, he's like, I don't even know what to think. I'm going to these douchebags for it.
That's fair. That's fair. And friggin', they amped up the Robotnik too. Like he looks way more Robotnik in this.
I saw the picture of it and I loved it. And it's still Jim Carrey, huh? I love it.
He looked like that at the end of the first movie.
Right. But
that's the end.
And it's also I guess I don't know how you say it, but it's easy to divert in design and stuff. There's things. I mean, you look at Thanos' evolution, man. Thanos evolved through all the MCU, and it's like
Leisure Suit Thanos.
Yeah, and it's almost like, you know, the ultimate look we got worked for the movie. It was great, but I would have liked to see something more akin to like what we saw at the beginning. You know,
I still think he could be fatter.
Fatter, like you want him to be like wider?
He's more egg-like, you know.
Oh, you're talking about Eggman, not Thanos.
No.
I thought you were talking about Thanos. I was like,
I was about to agree. I I definitely want Thanos to be, you know, 4 heads wide, like more Kirby. You know.
I don't like how cut Thanos is. He's got cuts on his chin and everything.
So got chin abs.
Yeah.
All that. Hey, so what are we talking about next?
So we should get into it. I was gonna say we started a little bit late, so apologies, folks. You know, we had some technical difficulties and whatnot. If you're watching this after the fact, then hey, you didn't know that, but that's why
it is obvious that we've lost a man.
Yeah, oh yeah, and Jay's feeling under the weather. I'm sorry, Jay. Friggin' he's our silent assassin, so I didn't even realize he wasn't here yet. I was like, oh damn it, Jay. But no, Jay's feeling under the weather, so speedy recovery to you, Jay. Like I don't even know if Jay's watching.
He's fighting a Decepticon that entered his body. I don't want to say the name out loud, though.
I miss having Jay here because I could tell because there's no scrolling Chiron telling the people what we're talking about.
Right.
That's usually what he does. And so I miss that for sure.
Yeah.
But what I do like is that he actually likes, subscribes, and comments when he's not here. And that was refreshing to see. He was in our comments section the last episode. After the fact, which is where it counts.
Really? What did he say?
Yeah. I don't remember. Something about what we were talking about. But
to the comment section.
I actually do. There's actually some dude was commenting on Oz's package. One of the Elder Scrolls, the most recent Elder Scrolls one, and he said he didn't get. It's December. He still hasn't gotten his summer box.
Damn.
Hey, I talked about that on that. Look, it got so bad I had to buy a box at Comic-Con.
Yeah, you know, but I mean, I actually pinned his comment because I think we need to do an open letter to Loot Crate and tell him what the fuck.
And then that would be the open letter.
Yeah, hey,
dear Loot Crate, WTF?
In the worst,
Sincerely, Fantastic Forum.
I'll bring up a spoiler for the next box because I got the email on when I'm gonna get it. It's new video coming out in January. Culture Fly, their DC boxes, and I had this conversation with Mo where I was trying to understand the email, where the email was all about spoiler warning and spoiler this, and so I'm like, okay, so it's gonna be about spoiler or Teen Titans or something. And they're telling me they're telling me what one of the things is. That's the spoilers. They're gonna tell me one of the things in the box ahead of time.
Okay.
And it's a Raven mug.
Okay.
Now, it's a cool Raven mug because it's her, and then you put the hot liquid in, and flame like stuff comes around. Well, I think it's flames. Actually, I have to look at it again, which is kind of weird, but okay, I see what you're trying to do. And I showed it to Mo, and I was like, "This is Raven. Why are they saying spoilers so many times in this email?" It's just, like I get it. It's a Teen Titans thing, but I don't remember spoiler being a Teen Titan. Like, she goes straight to Batgirls, I think. Like, unless I missed something, I don't. Maybe was I in a coma for a while? I don't know. So that's your little preview for January.
And I was trying to get in on some Oz's package action myself, and I was trying to get the collector core, but they didn't make a collector core box. The Marvel one, the Funko Marvel one, they didn't make one for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh.
They made the one that you get for, the winter time. Well, I guess November is the most recent one. They didn't even announce a No Way Home one at all.
Oh.
But the one the one that you get now, if you're a subscriber, is the Eternals one. Oh. And yeah, exactly. But they have a Shang-Chi one. They got a Black Widow one, and it's like, what? No Way Home like that. That's a no. I guess
they're trying not to share that Sony money.
They don't want to spoil all the
people. Who gets fucked there? They get to share money. They get to share money, but I want I skip all of them. I didn't do the Venom because fuck Venom. There's a Venom one. That's Sony money they're splitting.
That's true.
And there's whatchamacallit. So like he had to throw up. He went to vomit. He's disgusted at that. So just the guy that's willing to give his hard-earned money to both of those cocksucker companies.
If they did a Venom one, then they should have done a Spider-Man one. I wonder what happened.
And they did what else? I mean, they've done X-Men ones when the X-Men movie came out. They did an X-Men one with the Phoenix,
And I wonder if it's a thing where it's like maybe I don't know. That's a good question. That's what we should send them a letter about. WTF? Why no box? Which is what you were saying, actually, Moses.
And not only that, there's no website. Like, I guess you can only subscribe on Amazon. Like, there's no actual website to subscribe. There's more websites dedicated to to curating what you get in each box than there are sites telling you where you can subscribe.
That's wild.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm down to do it through Amazon. I don't have to put in my info or whatever, but give me a Spider-Man No Way Home. I know I wanted to. I got the Doctor Strange one when that came out, but that's it. I don't subscribe monthly. I just buy the one box for $50. But
okay.
But yeah,
I did that when they first had their special boxes. I think the first one that I can remember was a Fallout box, which I mean now I have a Fallout subscription, but it was like a $150 special box, and they tell you some of the things that are in there. It's all right. I've never worn that hoodie or used that purse.
Listen, I did mention though. I mean, you still have it. He still has it. You can send it to you, right?
No, but it's different. The moment has passed.
Oh, I've been wearing that belt almost every day.
Yeah,
the Transformers belt.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, there's a Oz's Package special Happy Birthday Larry edition because it turned out to be the twist at the end. Spoilers. It was Larry. So the box was what Oz bought Larry for his birthday, and
thanks again, Oz.
I felt so bad when I opened it too. There's It's a box is like this big.
Yeah,
Like maybe 10% up is where everything.
It was brutal to watch because I was just like, oh, and it was my idea. I'm like, you know what? If you do Oz's packaging and then the surprise, you give it to Larry. You do it with Larry. Like, get him a Transformers box, like, right there, and then like you're like, oh, what is this? Like, so Emily and I dropped edibles, and she didn't know what went down because Jay and Liz Comic-Con went to the brewery to get food,
Right,
and so it was just us filming that, and so she got to watch it for the first time a couple days ago. And man, she was just looking at Larry's face and everything, and knowing that he's gonna get it. It was hilarious. Like, I don't mind spoiling it because you got to keep in mind that, like, he's judging these things so harshly, but they're his things for his birthday. His birthday present.
Honestly, I don't think anything in that box I would have just bought you as a birthday present.
Yeah, I believe that.
I would have done the belt. I would
knowing, but the way that we did it, that it was just a blind box. Like, I don't know, you don't know.
Yeah,
kind of like made me feel a little bit better about it.
Of course, as it should.
Guys here,
No, man, it was a fun experience, and I appreciate it for just that alone. Honestly, and then I still got a cool belt, and I got a kick-ass wallet, and a friggin' amazing box that I could put my Decepticons in.
If you don't mind, I'll buy the cigarette holder off of you.
We can talk about it. Okay. We can talk about it. Who knows? I might part with it, but at the same time, there's a part of me that kind of like, I'm not going to use it, but I kind of don't know if I want to give it away. It's a gift.
We use business cards, so you could put your business cards in it. And I mean, even though they did cut off the little publishing icon for Optimus, it's still like it still has like an enamel branding of a comic book cover, which is cool. So
it is cool.
You could definitely find a use for it, even just to hold your lav mic, like with the wire, like it's a good way to, or even I don't know if headphones will fit in it, but to hold headphones would be cool. Although now with high tech, like you probably have a little those Galaxy pods or some shit.
Sorry, I got slightly sidetracked because I just got disturbed by something. So I've been munching on this popcorn since we started. This was something that came in a gift bag from work for Christmas. I just realized, see this cut, how it's this is where you peel it off. I didn't do that. I just took it out of the gift bag and opened it up and started eating. I didn't realize it has already been opened. This was just torn aside and whoop, open.
Oh wait, so you didn't tear it open yourself?
Nope. I just I saw the little notch here and I was like, oh hey, that's for ripping it. Wait a minute, I didn't rip it open. I didn't cut it. And it opened so easily. I think.
So you can tainted popcorn.
Probably.
You should stop eating that.
It's too late. You know what? Probably your dog opened it.
No.
He's dead already. Not the dog, Oz.
No.
Look, your dog.
It just disturbed me, but it's not going to stop me from eating it. You'll see me eating it.
Oh, wow. Okay. The puppy jumped into the shot for a hot second.
He didn't jump in. They lifted him because he was getting on my nerves.
And
now?
He's brave now because usually he don't cross that dark spot.
Well, he smells cheddar. He loves cheese. I don't want to show the brand. We're not sponsored. He smells. He loves cheese.
There it is.
Sorry, sidetrack. My bad.
Indeed. All right, you all ready to get into this?
Let's tell you to watch Oz's package and hit the like, subscribe, and then now here's the review music.
Comic book
review.
Comic book
like
review.
Well, not like that, but like.
Damn, why does that look like that?
Like what?
Hold on.
Oh, why is it so big?
Wait, I don't know.
What's so big?
It's like, I blame Joe. Hold on. I got to make it a ticker. I got to make it a ticker.
Oh, ticker. My bad.
Yeah.
See?
Ticker.
This
Ticker.
No, Lawrence can say it.
ticker. Anyway,
Am I the only
ladies
one
and gentlemen,
terms of service here?
Inferno. What? Listen. Inferno #1. It is the latest X-Men event happening right now. The last event or the last comic, X-Men comic that Johnathan Hickman is going to be writing in the near future. So it's called Inferno, not to be confused with the series back in the day. This is Inferno 2021. We're going to
And not
be
to be confused with Secret Wars Inferno.
what is Secret Wars Inferno? Like, what are
There
you
was a
talking about?
tie-in for Secret Wars called Inferno, like one of those Battle World books.
Yeah, was it called Inferno?
It was when I almost bought it trying to read this.
Okay, there were a lot of Secret Wars tie-in books, and I read them all. I don't remember Inferno, but that doesn't mean anything because I Lord knows you'll probably say another one, and I won't remember it either. But
Yeah.
Are you
I
talking
do
about
remember.
Warzone's Inferno? Inferno
What say? What?
Warzone? I was wondering if Mo was talking about Inferno War Zones. There's a lot of Infernos in the comic book space.
Yeah, but we're specifically talking about Jonathan Hickman and Valerio Schiti's Inferno. It's basically the next, or it's the event that is ushering in the next era of X-Men, or the next Krakoan era of X-Men. And so it's going to be a 4-issue series, but they're all like double issue books, so it basically is an 8-issue series. But right now it's up to #3, but we're going to be talking to you about #1. So let's do it. Uh here's where I would like to start, because under normal circumstances, I would give like a little overview of what the book's about. But I'm more interested in hearing from you two in regards to like what you think of what you're reading, because I know both of you aren't necessarily like regular X-Men readers, and I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on how accessible this book is, and in regards to like from the perspective of someone who might be like, hey, maybe I haven't been reading X-Men in a while and I see this and I just pick it up, which I feel like the two of you have a closer uh a closer, like, you're closer to that. Like, I think, and realistically, I'm not even sure how much you all know in regards to like what's going on with X-Men right now, outside of the fact that they live on Krakoa. So I don't know. Like, Mo, let's start with you, man. How close, or how much before you started reading Inferno, you know, this Inferno for the show, how much did you know about X-Men, like the current era of X-Men?
So I knew about the Krakoa stuff. The last that I kind of knew about or felt comfortable discussing with the X-Men stuff was kind of like the Empire, like
Hmm.
the tree beings versus the, what is it, the
The X-Zombies.
yeah, all that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's kind of like where, and actually I do want to go back and read Empire, because that's one of those things that was
Yeah.
disrupted by COVID, and a bunch of other shit came up.
Yeah.
And so I want to read that in its entirety on its own, so I'll do that. But
Yeah, you should.
maybe we'll get a one shot, who knows.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I knew I was gonna have a certain amount of feeling lost, and not just from not reading X-Men that often, or that regularly rather.
Hmm.
um and it was due to that it's Hickman. Like he writes up for you. Yeah. So I'm lost. Like, once you hit the prose, I'm lost.
Hmm.
But you this book, you jump in the middle of a battle with Nimrod, and a group of X-Men. Was it Kid Omega and who else? Wolverine,
Mm-hmm.
and who was the other one?
Domino, probably.
Domino. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's the current. That's current. Those are all current members of X-Force.
X-Force. Okay, so and then it turns out there's just a videotape that somebody's watching, and you don't know what happens there. That I figured that happens in X-Force. Fine. That to me, like feeling lost in that battle with Nimrod, like, okay, I'm feeling lost, and then there's a reason why I'm lost, and then there's a whole other reason I'm lost about this thing with the Orcus.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, but they do a okay job of like not making you like, okay, I know all I need to know, but I'm like, okay, there's this, and they're doing this here. Let me, okay, now I know what I need to look for to get to this point. Everything that it tells you, anything I felt lost in, I didn't feel entirely lost, and I felt that I had ready access to, because of the amount of X books there are, and they're fairly like, you can take them, like you can look at a cover and know what you're going to be dealing with, and so like even covers I've seen at the shop here and there, I'm like, okay, that's probably where, in my memory, I'm like, okay, that's probably where what's happening here happened there, So I didn't. There wasn't a lot of editor's notes, and there wasn't a lot of the caption like boxes. Usually the caption boxes do a good job of bringing you up to speed. In Hickman books, they do it in a page of prose, which I'm usually turned off by. But after the first one, the first one did a really good job of priming me for the rest of the book, and then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna take this at face value and go with it. And the fact that it's a double-sized issue, because they're trying to conserve paper now, it's I think that served to its benefit. If it would have been half the size, I would have felt a little more lost, and I wouldn't gotten enough story to keep me wanting the rest of it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, let me jump to you, Oz. Oz, what about you? What were you aware of in regards to X-Men? Oh, wait, I caught him.
Can I zoom in more to him chewing?
Yeah, I know. right into his mouth. Don't at me, Herbert. Don't at me, Herbert.
It's popcorn, so there's like stuff in there too.
The dog is just sniffing up.
Yeah, the popcorn. You're like, popcorn?
I read Empire and the that double, I don't know what that event you call that original Hickman run.
Oh, House of 10, Powers of X and House of 10. Or Powers of 10 and House of X.
And I read a little bit past that. So everything that's happening, I have an idea. Like I have a reference point of what's going on.
Right.
And I still don't know what's going on.
That's fair.
There's some things in here that seem kind of dumb to me. I don't know.
Okay.
Like the battle that Mo was describing.
Yeah.
The people watching that video talk about how this is like the 10th attempt, and they never changed their tactics because that's how they realized that the mutants on this attack have no memory of the attack, so they just do the same attack again. That seemed a little bit like, I mean, there's ways you can do surveillance, right? Like you can get info and figure out why you failed instead of just sending the same people again and again and again to keep failing if it's happened 10 times. I don't know why Charles Xavier was being resurrected at the beginning, or how that ties into the middle. I know who the old ladies are, so I don't know who the monkey people are. I'm guessing they're the Orcus people.
I'm happy to hear that.
And it brought up something interesting to me that I thought about when I read that original Hickman run. that I don't know if this question has been answered or if this is where Hickman is going to answer it. But so Moira McTaggart, her power is when she dies, all her knowledge gets put back into her as a fetus and she's reborn.
Mhm.
But like the same year, like it's I don't know how to describe it. Like it just like time resets to that point where she's born, and then what she does affects the timeline, right? It's something like that,
Right.
So what I've been wondering is, and I don't look, Lawrence, I'm assuming you've been continuously reading since they introduced that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
What would happen if Moira gets killed and is resurrected through the resurrection process? Is that a thing that can happen? Because she's limited to like 10 or 11 resurrections, and she's on like her 10th. And so if she dies and they know she doesn't have any more resurrections, what happens if she's brought through the machine?
Right. And I hear what you're saying, and that's a good question. Here's what I'll say. First, the first thing is we in House or in Powers of 10, Destiny tells Moira that she has like 10 lives to lead, maybe 11 if she makes the right decisions, something like that. I don't remember if it was 9 or 10 or 10 or 11, but something like that. But keep in mind that that's not necessarily a limitation on her mutation as much as Destiny being Destiny and saying like, hey, you think you're immortal, but you're only gonna live this many times.
But
that's because
that presents the same dilemma to me, because if she dies and her memories go back to a previous Moira, but you create a new Moira, you know.
Well, here's but to answer the question that you're asking, then technically speaking, when you do the resurrection process that the 5 and the X-Men do right now, the mind that goes into you is from a cerebral backup that Professor X makes. So technically speaking, the body that gets created can be implanted or would be implanted with a copy of the mind that Professor X made before she dies. So
here's where I think this is going. I think Hickman has set up that Moira is in her last resurrection because he doesn't want to redo this timeline. He likes the story he's telling. I think she's going to get killed, resurrected through the process because she can't resurrect anymore. So the timeline is solid now. It can't be changed. And
like, why would she not be able to resurrect again?
She ran out.
But why?
Or look, she either she ran out, or Destiny said what she would do, and is Destiny's a her, right?
Yeah, Destiny's a her.
They, them, whatever. Destiny does what Destiny said would do and take out Moira before her powers activate, which would cancel out any resurrection. And so now you have the resurrection process creating a new Moira that restarts her resurrections. So then you stab that one in the face. And she does all the same things to get back to the point that we're at now.
Right.
I just solved all that right now.
Nailed it.
You saw me figure it out. As I finished this bag of tainted popcorn.
There it is.
They put weed in that to get you fired.
Powers of Oz.
They put
the thing I took tomorrow off.
You're gonna have a random drug test when you get back. Well,
go ahead.
What I was saying, like, I think he might be onto something because it's also Hickman's like last thing as a Marvel dude, right?
I don't think it's his last thing as a Marvel guy. I think it's his last X-Men thing for a while.
Okay. So he could probably potentially just do things so that it could be a certain way for a while, right?
I mean, how married is Hickman to this story? Because he could do the ultimate thing, finish out his story, kill Moira. Now you have the last resurrection. Totally different because he's established that that's what happens.
It's really interesting just because you all know me and how much I love X-Men and how deep I love to get into the weeds when it comes to X-Men. And so I've been like reading interviews and stuff and just like I just like listening and talking and reading about Hickman's process. And one of the things that ended up happening with the whole X line, which is wild because Hickman had everything laid out. And as he's presenting his X-Men ideas, because you know how Marvel they do their summits and they all go out into the woods or whatever, go talk about stories for the like year. When he did his X-Men pitch, people got so excited for it, they like started like tossing ideas out there themselves and like wanting to jump in and like, hey, what if we did this? What if we did that? Right. And so all those people jumping in and having stories to tell in the sandbox that Hickman created with with this era of X-Men basically made it so that the story that he was trying to tell, which would have been a more succinct kind of thing, I guess for all intents and purposes, kind of got a little bit, well, I can't say derailed, extended is the right word. I'm pretty sure that's probably the word he used, or something like that, where he was going to tell a story that was going to be like this beat, this beat, this beat, this beat. And in the first beat, people are like, dude, we love this. Can we just stay here for a little bit? And that's basically like what ended up, what's kind of happened. Inferno is basically like the second beat, of the story that he was trying to tell. And so it's like, so it's kind of like the opposite of what like he could do that Oz, because I think if Hickman was the kind of dude that was like, hey, I'm putting my foot down, like I think Marvel would be like, well, hey, let's let Hickman do what Hickman does. But he's like, no, I mean, comics is a collaborative process and people want to play in this sandbox, so let's let them play and I'll go do something else. And I think that was part of the reason too why he's like, okay, well then I don't need to be doing all this X-Men stuff all the time.
So what I'm kind of, because the way you explained it is almost like Hickman himself, which means I'm too stupid to understand. So you mean that he wanted to do stuff and they put a bunch of stuff in between the House of 10 and Inferno?
Kinda, yeah. Like, and don't get me wrong, like there was supposed to be stuff in between, but it would have been less stuff if it was left to Hickman on his own.
Right, and it'd be different too.
Yeah.
Which would affect, which Inferno would have been a different thing based on how that would have played out, right?
Well, not necessarily. Like I feel like, because I think that there are certain things that Hickman probably was like, hey, if you all want to do this, like stay in this era for a little bit, we can do that. Just don't touch A, B, C. You know what I'm saying? Like leave that for me. And I think that that's kind of what's happening in the sense that he's like, okay, let me tell this story now with Inferno with the pieces that I want to be playing with, and then he'll leave another like a new sandbox basically, and people will play in that for a while. And then that's why I think it's like, he won't be doing an X story for a little while. He'll do some other Marvel stuff and his own independent stuff on his Substack. And then who knows, like in another few years, he'll probably come back and tell like the next story beat, like the next of X-Men event will be like a Hickman event, like 2.5, 3 years from now.
You had to go and do extra work to understand Hickman's process for this, right? Like you went and you subscribed to his OnlyFans, right? Like
absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
No, Substack, because
Hickman.
Put the man in Hickman. No, but like like you subscribe to your creator, like that you want, and you get like a podcast or something. That's how you heard about all this, right? through his
Well, no,
Substack.
some of it is just like regular kind of, like regular comic book news site coverage stuff. Like, I honestly, the Substack stuff, he doesn't really talk about
Oh,
X-Men
really?
stuff as much. Like,
Okay.
no, a lot of what I'm talking about is like comic book, like comic book journalists doing interviews and stories and things like that. Especially like once it was announced that he was gonna like kind of step away from X-Men for a little bit, a lot of people were like, wait a minute, like what are you talking
Yeah.
about? Like you got this whole thing that you got set up. What do what's happening? And that's
Yeah.
when he had to like kind of go on a small like explanation tour in regards to like this is what's happening, and and this is why it's happening. And it's not like I'm not getting fired from Marvel. It's not like I don't want to do anything for them. Like that's how I know, like, he'll be still doing stuff for Marvel, but it won't be like he might actually, because he was kind of coy about it, but the way that he made it sound was like almost like he might be doing some like behind the scenes kind of architect type stuff for Marvel, like, saying like, hey, if you want to make the 616 interesting, you might want to do this with these characters and this with those characters. So Hickman might be influencing like what the greater landscape for the comic book Marvel universe looks like behind the scenes.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe, but it's kind of speculation because again, he was yeah. But what I will say is this: as far as this book itself, Inferno, like especially when I read the first issue here, because I've been reading, I'm current, but reading the first issue, there's some parts of it that I definitely were like, oh, I'm not sure what that means yet, but that's like Hickman is notorious for that. Like you all like talked about mentioned the first scene where you have Professor X and Magneto getting resurrected, and you have Emma Frost in the Cerebro helmet. Like I know just because I read a lot of Hickman and I know like how he works. Like that's basically like a flash forward kind of tease.
Right. So I'm not that stupid. I'm not as stupid as I
No.
thought. Because
No, absolutely not.
I didn't feel lost there at all. Like that felt to me like, okay, that's another timeline. Like we're not there yet.
Right. We're not there yet. Exactly. And that's a flash forward kind of tease. And one thing that we one thing that like or learn from the promotional materials and stuff, which I love the promo campaign they did for this Inferno because it was reminiscent of the old Inferno, but it kind of teases that there's going to be a schism among the leadership of the X-Men. Right now the X-Men have what they call the Quiet Council, and that Quiet Council has 12 seats on it, and it's different mutants that are on that council that kind of direct what happens on Krakoa overall until they like decide a new form of government or whatnot. And we've talked about the council before. It used to have Magneto it has Magneto and Professor X on it. It used to have Apocalypse, but he left. And it also used to have Jean Grey on it, but she left because she decided to become an X-Man. And like the X-Man team or whatever. But you got Nightcrawler.
Good name X-Men.
Who's
exactly.
Who's Cyclops banging these days? Because
Emma
the
Frost.
way so not Jean Grey.
No, it's Jean Grey. He's not. I don't
because Emma Frost was like, oh, Darlene, and like
that's her better.
Listen, Krakoa has like a bit of a free love kind of thing going on right now. Like people aren't so judgy
from Wolverine.
Huh?
I know Jean's getting it from Wolverine, so she don't need the One-Eye Wonder.
No, listen. She's with Cyclops more than she's with Wolverine.
Yeah, that's what Larry said.
How do you know that I don't know that? I'm the one holding the camera.
Yeah, whatever. You can't even see right. Like, how are you gonna focus?
That's why I have a camera.
This is why HR needs to talk to you.
What? Wait a minute. They're fictional. and consenting adults. But no, man, it's like it so I will say that I've seen, of course, Emma flirts with Cyclops. She flirts with Scott, but I haven't seen anything that makes me feel like, oh, okay, that's definitely happening right
Well,
now.
it's also not the Scott that she was with, though, right? Like it's the younger version.
No, it's the same guy.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I mean, or well, okay, well, let me put it like this. I mean, technically, Scott, a lot of X-Men have been resurrected at this point.
No,
Not
but I
not.
thought it was still the Bendis like classic team flash forward.
Oh no, those they all went back to their own timeline.
Okay, never mind.
No, this is Scott Summers, original Scott
Man, this
Summers.
ruins everything then.
Why?
Oh, because I'm all thinking about Iceman being gay and shit, and it's like,
Iceman is gay.
but no, he went back to his timeline.
The present day Iceman is gay too.
Oh man, that's it. Man.
What? It's like when the younger version came out,
Yeah,
it made the older version kind of rethink things, because he was like, "What? I'm not gay," and then he's like, "Ah, you know what? Maybe I am."
that sucks.
Why does it suck?
No, I like the idea that there was two Icemen and one was gay and one wasn't, and then you get it's almost like when Archie married Betty in one universe and Veronica in the other. Like if you want if you wanted Betty, you got your Archie and Betty books, and if you got your
Mhm.
Veronica, so all those homophobes wouldn't, like the Iceman homophobe fans, like wouldn't they wouldn't have too much to complain about. You know what I mean? Because
I
it's
hear
also
you.
like, I can be like, he could be a repressed version, like he could still have those feelings, but be like, what, I'm not gonna act on those, and I got used to living life this way, and I like it still.
No, like
No,
when
thing
the
is,
when
that
the
happens in like especially in Hispanic community, it happens a lot where they're so afraid of being ostracized that they just get used to being closeted, and they enjoy
yeah.
living that life,
But I
raising their
guess
kids and shit.
if you're watching literally a younger version of yourself, like be out and free among your own people, that would
Right.
make you feel like you could do that yourself.
It can, but it doesn't have to. And the thing
I
is, it would
guess.
be more interesting if it doesn't.
Is it more interesting? I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe.
it is,
Also,
because
too.
you can see you could literally just have a book of the two Icemen talking about different points in their life and how the gay one handled it and how the repressed one handled it. And it's like, and it just compare the two, and it'd be an interesting book of just that conversation.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Like it makes sense more so too because like the memories that the young X-Men had, literally like the current timeline X-Men end up they remember those memories. It's not like they're like
Okay, it's not
So
like
it's not
a
separate
parallel
timeline.
timeline. Yeah.
no it's like like they lived that
Okay.
and it becomes like a part of them. So
So in that,
it
look,
makes
okay,
less
so
sense.
you
Yeah.
fixed it. You fixed
Yeah,
it.
like in the same way like the young beast like learned a whole bunch of magic while
Yeah.
he was in that timeline or whatever, and then when he went back it's like the current beast like became or learned that magic or had that knowledge, I guess I should say.
So are
So
they
like
gonna
all their experiences, huh?
remake the Dark Phoenix saga with them with those memories now?
Look, I don't know. That would be wild. Like look,
That's
it's
that's some
crazy.
Hickman
It's really
shit.
interesting
Yeah.
though, because like even like the older Cyclops, there was a point. There's like a issue of Champions where he went to go help them out because the young Cyclops was a champion, and so he went like when they were in trouble, he went to go help them because he was like, you're my people, because he has those memories of when he was young hanging out with them, which is, I was like, that's interesting to me just because I'm like, like it would have been easy just to be, oh, that was some other timeline. But to me, it was more interesting. Like, it's like, okay, they have those memories. So, it they act accordingly once they went back into the timeline.
Well, all I
I,
can say about the Iceman thing, just to sum it up, is that I know somebody that is a like how Larry is with Cyclops. is him with Iceman. And when he found out that Iceman was gay, he was devastated. So I told him, I'm like,
Really?
"Oh no, the new one, the one you love is still just repressed. He's not, he's only if he goes to prison, he'll be gay, but because you gotta speak
I
the
mean,
language,
even
cholo, you know what I mean? so, so it's like, yeah, he's still straight. He's still straight technically. Yeah,
is he though?
Hilarious.
Like if he's repressed, like he's gay.
yeah,
pretend to
but
be straight.
look, Oz, cholos, like,
Right.
I do know cholos.
yeah, and you know how it is with them and gay shit. It's like it doesn't count if it's out of the shower, right?
Dude,
Like
Oh
he
man.
knows, Oz knows. Like he
I
has a gay cousin that is straight. Yeah.
Listen, yeah, I
I
hope.
I've been to some clubs where I've walked into the wrong room and seen some images of some cholos that like
Yeah. No,
like I don't fear them anymore.
yeah, no, look, I knew a guy that was born into the life, and his dad told him that one day he's gonna have to bang one of his friends just so that he's not afraid to go to jail.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a
I'm
thing.
not even gonna say I'm
I
not
don't
even
know
gonna
anybody
say
like
what
that, but I've
letter
heard
and what number they belong to. Cause but yeah. Let's just say Trump hates them too.
Sheesh. Wow. Okay. So back to Inferno. Like,
Hey, it's the Cholo life, man. In Krakoa, man, they'd be happy in Krakoa.
right? Hey, free love. Do what you do. No judgment. No judgment. Um. But yeah, man. So it's like I do feel like Orcus. Like if you don't remember what Orcus is, because it's not like if
it,
you're
it
reading the
has to
books.
do with the horror culture, right?
No, no.
No.
Like Orcus, like they lay the foundation and like really kind of tell you what Orcus as an organization is in House of X. Um, and they touch on it periodically through the runs of the different X-Men books here and there, but not to the same degree that, like I could totally see somebody picking this book up and being like, why are those people important? Because I don't feel like they necessarily do a great job of explaining what they are here. But Orcus is basically an organization that it was like put together so that when mutants reach a certain level of um I'm trying to think what, like when they reach a certain level of power or prestige, a protocol will go into effect where they create an organization that's like a globe spanning organization for the specific purpose of like not allowing mutant supremacy to happen. And so like if you read a House of X, they literally like one of those data pages is about like how mutants did this and then they did that, and once they did it, like if you remember, Professor X basically broadcast to the world like, hey, we're mutants, we're going to start our own nation, we're going to give you these gifts, like just don't mess with us, we're going to give these to you for free, just recognize that we're a people and that we have our own autonomy. That's when the Orcus protocols go into effect, and it's basically like some members of AIM, some members of Shield, some members of like basically like you take all of the uh like secret and clandestine like organizations, you take a little bit of a few members from each one and put it in together in one giant group, and it's like we have to collaborate as humans to make sure we don't get replaced. So that's what Orcus is.
It's almost
And
like the Illuminati, but just with no like moral siding.
I mean, you can
They're
kind of
just
say that, but see, the
humans.
only thing is, like, I feel like the Illuminati was more about like, hey, we want to share information to make sure that we can see some of this big stuff coming. And Illuminati, obviously, they didn't. the big problem they had was that they wanted to be secret when, it's like, hey, that could have been done in the open, but they're like, no, let's keep it between
Yeah.
us, right? You know,
That's why Captain America was crying.
yeah, he was not happy about that. He's like, we're going too far. But Orcus is like, it definitely doesn't have, like, it's different because it's like a by any means necessary kind of thing. Whether it's like, dude, like, if we don't like do something to make sure that we either eradicate mutants or seriously hamper them, they're gonna become like that we're gonna be gone as human beings. And so that's why you have like a lot of people in these different organizations. It's like some of it is like some Hydra people. Like it's basically like literally every organization in the 616 has a little part in Orcus. And so that's what they do. Like the base that you see the attack happening in is actually, they call it the mother mold, and it's literally like a giant sentinel head that like orbits the sun, which is crazy. But that's what it is, and that's part of the reason why it's so like the X-Men have been having so much trouble like attacking and infiltrating that base, because it's hard to get to, because
Yeah,
it's
but
around the sun.
I still
Mhm.
don't get why they can't come up with some way to get like find out what happened. Why did they fail? Why do they just keep sending the same group over and over and over again to keep
Well,
failing?
they don't, and in the book, they don't send the same group over and over. Like, the data page shows that they do switch it up sometimes, but they do
And
send X Force a lot, because X Force is basically Krakoa's CIA, and so it makes sense that who you send to do the clandestine missions, you send your like your agents, like, and that's
yeah,
what X Force is. So that's why it's mostly them.
Well, they never once sent Deadpool, so that's why they fail.
No,
well,
Deadpool. They don't mess with
yeah.
Deadpool like that. Yeah.
He's also like, I mean, he's not a mutant, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got some Wolverine in him, right?
He's just a mishmash. Like he's not a mutant.
Yeah,
Like
Free
I don't
love
think he has
on.
access.
Yeah, I think he's like a
Krakoa.
mutate.
Yeah,
Like,
he doesn't have access to
he could use
Krakoa.
I think he could use a Krakoan gate because he's got the DNA in him.
It's one of those things. Like, I think in this next era of X-Men, Deadpool is going to play a more central role. So who knows? He might be in the next X-Force, for all we know.
He should be in this X-Force. If you don't have Deadpool and Cable, then no wonder they fail.
Well, Cable is.
They have young Cable now, right? There's a new Cable.
No, the old one came back. New one's gone.
No.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, good. I hated that guy. Now, Bishop, is this the Bishop that becomes the time traveling Bishop, or is he just younger, hotter version of that classic?
No. That's the same Bishop. Like, it's all.
Look, his hair's different. I don't know. It might take a few years for that hair to grow out like that.
I miss the Jerry curl, but that's the fashion from the future, though. That's the thing.
the Jerry curls, the future fashion.
I thought the M on the face was how they were marked in the future. That's like their scarlet letter.
That
he changed his hair to the times now.
Oh, okay. So he went to Moe's barbershop and
he got classic. I want a classic,
the high and tight.
Yeah, because it's the crisscross hair, like
the crisscross hair.
Yeah.
Like jump crisscross.
Yeah.
What about the crisscross? Don't act like you didn't wear your pants backwards.
Oh, I definitely didn't wear my pants.
We all did that. We all.
Yeah, me neither.
Listen, I don't listen.
I wore them inside out and backwards.
I don't like another bad creation and crisscross. Damn. No, man. I didn't have parents that would let me do that, so it didn't happen.
I didn't have parents, so there you go.
It just got dark, and not just because
I say this every week. It got dark when I asked Larry if he thought his dad would have left him on Krypton at Comic-Con.
It was dark. That's funny.
And it turns out he probably wouldn't have,
Nah,
because he called you on your birthday. So it's like
he
I'm the
did.
only member of Fantastic Forum where his dad would have left him on Krypton. All right. So about the art, man. Look, the art is beautiful in this book. I can't find anything wrong with it. And
It is.
maybe you can mispronounce Valerio's name, but you can't call him shitty.
Nah, you
Because
can't.
the art's fucking fantastic. It's on point at every fucking angle, every panel, everything.
Yeah, yeah, so good.
Even the lettering is amazing in this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I had to double check to make sure it was, is this Richard Stark? Because his lettering's on point. Like, I heard everybody's voice right. They changed fonts a little bit here and there depending on who's talking. Like, everything just flowed in it. And for
Yeah.
a big size book that they I don't know if they crammed the double size in this. I'm happy they did, but if they're doing it because of the paper, like, this might be the way to go for these event books. Just make them big size, because I want to read the rest now. I got enough to get me, like, even though I didn't read up until this point, it gave me enough to go. And with the art being what it is, it's like, you can't. That's a no brainer, man. That's a good book. It's worth the
Yeah.
what is it, $8 a book, $10 a book.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is like $8. It's kind of
$8
crazy.
ain't bad. $8
$8,
ain't bad.
but it's a double size. Let's keep pointing that out.
Look,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like the size, and for the $8, I mean, there's DC event books. There's been Marvel books that have been,
Mhm.
close to double size, 34 pages, and they still cost $7-8, and they're event books. But this is double. Like, I kept looking at, because I bought it digitally, so I kept looking at the little scroll wheel on the side. I was still halfway for like the longest time. And I'm like, okay, good, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna keep. Like, I get to these points where I'm like, okay, if it's gonna end here, what the fuck, like, I'm gonna be pissed, and then there's still more to go. So this double size is the way to go. Thank God, or maybe not God, because he wouldn't do something this awesome, but for that lack of paper, like, as now we're getting these double sized books like that.
I honestly don't believe that this has like the double side of this doesn't have anything to do with the paper shortage. It could though, because who knows? But I don't think so. I think it's honestly a Hickman scheduling thing.
Okay.
I think where I just think like he's just like, hey, well, let's get him out.
Yeah.
Let's get him out. Let's get him out. But I could be wrong about that.
And that's the thing. The thing is, it's also I think you might be right, because contractually he might have to be done by certain things so he can do his other things,
Maybe, yeah.
But look, either way, like,
Yeah, we win.
Less paper being spent,
Right.
because any other event in Marvel, they can't say like, oh, let's just get them out, because half the time these artists don't finish on time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, half the time they have to add issues. Like Civil War had to add an issue. Secret Wars would add it too.
Yeah.
Like half the time they're adding issues. And I remember Eternals by Neil Gaiman was supposed to be 6 issues, ended up being 8, I think, or 7.
Yep. So let me ask you all this: do you all? How well do you understand what's happening in regards to the conflict between Moira McTaggart and Destiny? Like, or how well does that come across in this issue? Maybe is the better way I should.
For me, it comes across fairly well. I don't understand Destiny's motivation fully, and I don't even know what the fuck Moira's doing. That's pissing Destiny off, and that's because I haven't been reading. The Destiny thing I can attribute to that's a little bit more complex. But from art imitates and reflects a lot of the world around it, so I think it is a good kind of metaphor for like the world we live in right now, where ideologies might have similar goals, but they don't agree with each other in the execution of it, and they don't compromise. And I attribute it to that. Like, okay, is that dynamic? Like, I don't even understand it. Like, I can understand it in the world I live in, and I can see where it's flawed, and I can see where it could work, but nobody's interested in making it work. It's more about the fight. And here it's like, okay, I think the end, they're probably going to find a way to make it work. So I'm just going to watch this play out. So even though I'm not as clear on what Destiny's motivation is, and I don't know what the fuck Moira McTaggart's doing, but I know enough about her to know, okay, like she knows, so she's going by her experiences are to go on this path, and it might not be the right path, even though she has enough experience to say like this is the best path, and anybody could trust her, but it still might not be the best path, you know.
Gotcha.
So that's where I'm at with it. So again, I guess to put it in layman's terms, it's more like I don't know enough about their conflict, but I can kind of see it play out, and I want to see it play out.
What about you, Oz? How does it come across to you?
I got a pretty good idea. I felt like Moira was changing things, and Destiny, because when they met up, Destiny was with
Mystique.
Mystique. I'm assuming as part of the Brotherhood, or just like not on the side of good at that point, because it was before Krakoa.
Right.
And so I'm guessing, you know, I get the feeling like, especially at that point where they meet, that timeline, Moira is trying to come up with a cure, and Mystique is the type of person that, you know, like, cure what? This is us.
Right.
And if Destiny would have agreed with her, I could see where the conflict came. And, you know, Destiny tells her, you can be against us or with us. It's up to you in your next timeline.
Right.
So I think that's where the conflict started. When we get to the current timeline, Moira is obviously trying to get Destiny erased.
Right.
I think how they phrased it. And somebody with the power whose power is to know the future would see that. Like, I really, I don't understand why Moira would think Destiny wouldn't know that that's what Moira was trying to do, or saying, or trying to get those two to do. So it's a weird thing. I get what's happening. It's just weird the way it's done. Although what it leads to towards the end of the book is kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Because I thought, before we get to that point, and I'm trying to not be spoilery. So before we get to that point, I thought something was happening. And so I was a little bit surprised at what actually ended up happening.
Right. Right.
But
no, that's okay.
Now knowing that, I guess the first few pages were a look into the future, because it's not very clearly stated, at least to me, but I kind of read through it really quick because I had to get that done for today. I think that that those first few pages are a result of the fallout of the last few pages of the first book. So it's kind of it's going into an interesting place.
Yeah.
And that whole relationship, I'm kind of interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah. Okay. So cool. So I mean, you all pretty much, you're on the track, like, because that the conversation you see in Inferno #1 is basically like a expanded version of a conversation that we saw before in, I think that's what, Powers of 10-2, #2, I think. Basically the one where you find out Moira has the ability to reincarnate, and it actually goes through like her different lives. And in her, in her first life, she basically just
she doesn't
lives
do anything. She just lives it, right?
Yeah, she just lives through her life, and like, meets a guy, gets married, has kids, has grandkids, like lives and dies at an old age. And then when she's reborn in her second life, she's like, I remember all that, even as like a baby. And so she literally has to like, pretend that she doesn't know things because she's like, people treat me weird.
Now,
you know?
It's also crazy. It's kind of crazy to me because, like, she loved her husband, like she loved, like that was her love of her life, her husband, and for her entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just interesting that she's reborn, and like she's living out the events, and she's like, I've done this before.
Mm-hmm.
It's still the same guy that she loved, but because she's already like she knows what's gonna happen, she's done it all before. That changes her.
Right.
And I always thought that was kind of an interesting thing about her specifically in those books, was seeing what happens when she starts a new life with the memories of the old one in the same time frame.
Right. What are you gonna ask, Mo?
Yeah, like, is there ever a moment where she like kind of makes peace or lets something go, where like she knows what's gonna happen and she has to let it play out, and she has to kind of make peace with herself to let it play out and not change it?
I mean, it kind of depends on how you.
I think her
the right.
I think her teaming up with Charles and discussing Krakoa, because she was part of what gave Charles the idea for Krakoa, right?
Definitely.
Because
definitely.
Before that lifetime, she was all about curing mutants.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. Like, in the second life, because she knew a lot of the beats of what was supposed to happen, it, like I was saying, it kind of got derailed because, like she, for instance, she doesn't end up marrying her husband in the second life because she's like, I know this dude already, and he doesn't know me, and so that makes it weird sometimes because it's like, she can't pretend like she doesn't know him, and so because like she's like, man, this is so weird, I don't know what's happening, and she sees Charles Xavier on the TV and is like, oh, there's, we're mutants and we have these abilities and this and the other, and she's like, oh, now I get what might be happening to me, and she's trying to go fly to meet Charles Xavier, and ends up dying in a plane crash, and then she gets reborn again. Like before she meets Xavier, she dies in a plane crash, and then gets reborn again. And in that third life, that's when she's like, "This is messed up. I hate this," and that's why she decides to cure mutants, because she's like, "No one should have to do this." And like I'm sure there are other people out here with issues like I'm having, that, yeah, okay, they're mutants, but they don't want to be, so I'm gonna make a cure. And that's the lifeline where Destiny finds her with Mystique and Pyro, and she's like, hey, like, you're trying to mess around and kill your own people, and that's messed up. And she's like, she's like, I didn't know exactly you were trying to do that, but she's like, but there's basically, like, Destiny can't predict what Moira's gonna do, but she can see the hole where she can't see,
Right.
and that's how they find her. And so that's like the whole conflict between the two of them is like, if you go and try to do something like this again, I'll know, and I'll come find you. And because of that, how that goes down in life 3, Moira's like, you know what? I can't be messing with these precog folks. And that's why in this Krakoa era, she's like, we don't resurrect the precogs. Because she's like,
there's one lifetime where she like goes full on like giant gun and just murdering everybody, right?
Yeah, she tried to, because after a certain amount of time, she realizes that the real enemy is the machines, like the AI, like that's what gets mutants.
Well,
And she goes and she
eventually
tries, right, and she tries well,
she's like 1,000 years in the future, and she sees like like, what is it, like humanity and machine combination?
yeah.
And and it gets weird.
Yeah.
Wolverine's
But-
the only other mutant alive, and he kills her so that she can start the timeline.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, she literally, like, in that timeline with the gun, she's like, okay, well, if we don't get Sentinels made, we don't get to, like, advanced AI that leads to the Nimrods, which is basically the thing that actually kills us. So I'm gonna kill the Trask family, like all of them. Like, she literally hunts down every Trask, but then a Sentinel still gets made by a different group of people.
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh damn. So
The reason I asked my question is so I can figure out how to do it. Like
you don't want to do that, Mo. That's a messed up existence. You don't want to be on baby and you know what you did, everything you did
that's the
previously.
thing. It's like, I get these weird moments of deja vu where shit's happening, and it's like I can see the bad path because I guess that's where it went. So then I change it, or I don't.
That's good.
Yeah, but it feels terrible.
Why?
Because it does. Like, in the moment, it's terrible. Like, it feels bad. I don't know if it. I don't know what it is. I just know, like, there'll be something, and it's like, oh, okay. And then I'm about to go in that path, and I'm like, oh shit, that's gonna go real bad. Like, it went real bad. Yeah.
I feel like that's just called common sense, Mo. Like,
no, it's not. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like when I read the Norma Taggart stuff, it's like it felt a lot like some of what happens to me sometimes, but it only a little spurts, not like all the knowledge and clarity. You know?
Right.
And so in the moment, it's like it becomes an anxious, panicky moment. And I have to keep it to myself because nobody understands it. Yeah.
Well, we understand now, Mo. You can tell us. Look, you can tell us.
You're secretly laughing at me. I'm on solo layout.
I too get moments of clarity and thought after a small spurt.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. This guy.
I don't need deja vu to know that stupidity's coming. Over here. But yeah, look, you make me seem less crazy when I talk about it because you lighten it up.
So, so friggin' I will say this. We talked about the story some, we talked about the art. Hickman writing X-Men, I know for me, has been like a personal joy. Like, I've been loving it so much. And I feel like what he set up has made X-Men just in general really, really interesting. I really do wish I could have gotten a version of this stuff that was just the story he wanted to tell and that's it. But I like the different books and stuff that we're getting right now. What I will say is I think that, if you haven't read Inferno #1, I would definitely suggest you give it a shot. And if you've read it and you're like, I'm not exactly sure, where all this stuff is going, like, at the very least pick up issue 2, man. Because issue 2, like that, because it's such classic kind of Hickman stuff where, Hickman loves to show you something and then mess around and in the following issue or in 2 or 3 issues down the line show you the same thing again but recontextualize it, and all of a sudden you're like, damn, what I was looking at I thought was this, but now that I have this extra piece of information I realize that it was like something completely different. And it's just a very cool thing, just to, like, it's a great way of telling stories. And it's like, obviously, like, it's Hickman, he's going to do that, but he does it so well that it doesn't matter that it's like watching the Rousey armbar. You know exactly what's going to happen, but she does it so, like, expertly. It's a joy to watch every single time. And so it's like it's that same kind of deal, man, where it's like, issue 2, like, I'm probably going to go and reread it again right now after the show's done.
But see, Larry, I know you had suggested in the pre-production text to, like, issue 1 and 2 to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But you see why I said just do 1? Because we're already an hour and 24 in, and we've just been talking about issue 1. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
I will say that I feel like we could have had an issue about 1 and 2 in this same amount of time. But you're right. We would have talked more.
Nah,
You're
but
right.
it wouldn't have been as like I mean, like
You're right.
we delved deep into this, and we
Yeah.
barely even, like. I mean, we only talked about half of it, really, and like I mean, we really have to have a separate show, like Hickman for Dummies, and I'm gonna have you translate all of Hickman's stuff
Hickman for dummies.
because
Hilarious.
yeah,
Like I still gotta go. Like I got some other Hickman books that I've been buying, but I haven't actually read yet that I need to mess with too.
like
So
I was trying to read, was it the Black Monday Murders or something?
oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, fuck. I thought I read the whole thing, and it turned out I was only like 12 pages in.
Hilarious.
Dude, it's insane.
Yeah, man. Hickman's amazing. I love it. All right. What would you how about Oz? What would you rate Inferno #1?
If you haven't been reading X-Men diligently, nonstop for however long Hickman's been on this book, then 3.5, close to 4. It's not a bad book. The art is great, like you guys said. It's just a little bit confusing, and then without the editor's note saying, "Hey, check out this book or this book or whatever," to help out and maybe make me want to go back and read those stories and kind of figure out what's going on. You can get a little bit lost. So yeah, if you haven't been reading the stuff, then 3, maybe 3.5, because it's not bad. If you have, then 4.5. It continues the story. The art's great, and Hickman's a decent writer. Turns out he knows what he's doing.
Who knew? Who knew? Mos Magnum. What would you rate Inferno #1?
This has got to be one of the high ones. The 4 out of 5s. But again, it's one of those things. Like you're gonna feel a little lost, but you know what? It's okay because you're gonna. If you stick with it, you're gonna find out what you need to find out, and it definitely gives you what it wants you to know to read this book. Like it doesn't give you things you need to know, but you can do those on your free time. The moment you're reading this book, you're reading this book, and it gives you what it wants you to see and what it wants you to know. And I feel like that's enough. Usually, like I feel where these books, like I wish I would have had more info, but nah, this one does it. This one does it like right in the page without editor's note, which is an achievement in and of itself.
There you go.
Plus the art's really good.
Yeah, I didn't tell you, Mo, but Skeety doesn't do issue 2.
Ah, I'm out.
Look, it's Stefano Castelli.
Oh, I'm in.
I know. Exactly. See, exactly right, dude. It's amazing. It's amazing, man. Listen, you all know what I'm gonna say. 5 out of 5. I'm an X-Men fan, unapologetically. I don't say that to mean like anything that has the X-Men name on it, I'm gonna automatically like, because Lord knows I messed around and went through my friggin' own terrible era of X-Men comics, and like I've been there. But this is the opposite of that. Like like these are some amazing comics. Hickman, his vision for the X-Men messed around and took it to a whole nother level that I hope we stay at or around for a long time to come. But yeah, 5 out of 5 for me. I love it. All right. So next we should be talking about ruining Christmas. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we already did the music, right? So
Yeah, we're good to go, man.
okay, hold on.
What do you do? Oh, you're changing that.
Bam. Did I spell that right? I hope so. I misspelled Christ. No, I'm joking. Okay, cool. So, ruining Christmas #1. There it is. Mo, why don't you tell us a little bit about this book?
So this book was a Kickstarter book done by Sebastian A. Jones, Daryl May, Eli Hicks, Jim Polk, and Joshua Cozine. It was one of these Kickstarter books that came out in I think the Kickstarter was launched in July of 2020 in the midst of the pandemic, and I was, high and had my edibles and was surfing Kickstarter. Like that's what I did during the pandemic. I just funded a bunch of shit. I have a weird action camera stabilizer, but it's useless because any action camera worth its money has stabilizing built in. But I bought that. Um, and then I bought a bunch of other books, some of which we reviewed. And this one I waited till Christmas because it's Christmas. It's a theme book, So I've been eagerly waiting. It was delayed, the finishing of it, so it ended around August of last year, and it wasn't delivered till like July of this year or something like that. It was a long time because I hadn't forgotten about it, but I knew it's like, okay, well, it's not going to be in time for Christmas that year, so I'll review it Christmas next year. And yeah, Sebastian A. Jones. I mean, if look, he was one of the producers on Friends. He started Stranger Comics. They have their own universe, which is pretty cool. We've reviewed The Untamed before. Was a Sinner's Prayer or something like that, and we had him on in the past, so he's no stranger to us. But this was one of the books that is published by Stranger that isn't in that universe, as far as we know. Who knows? It can be, but this gives you like this weird, cheeky Christmas story that's like a little irreverent and comedy, action comedy type of movie. It feels like one of these seasonal movies that we get that are that has Christmas as a background and tell you the story of these weird, crazy people. Yeah. And yeah, so this is it. That's the cover right there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can't see if you guys can see it because I'm on.
No, we can see it.
Yeah, the cover itself reminded me of The Usual Suspects, the movie.
Absolutely.
So for me, that was like when I saw that picture and it's on Kickstarter, take my money. Like the art I like because it's it's that cartoony, like hyper cartoony art. In the tattoo industry they call it new school, where it can be a graffiti piece. At least the design of the characters, and I like that too. So it was a no-brainer. Well, the only thing I did have to think about was how much money I would give them, and I gave them the base. I think it was like $10 or something for the digital copy, and that's it because I'll make it easier for them. Like it's in the middle of the pandemic when shit can't be shipped that easily, So I figured the digital is the way to go. There's another one I got digital that I haven't been able to review yet, but that's coming soon. If you subscribe, you'll get it in a one shot. And but yeah, this is Ruining Christmas.
So, Oz, you read Ruining Christmas. What did you think of this book? Oh, the audible sigh.
I feel like every one of these characters is a bit of Oz.
No, it's fine. It's just it feels like nothing happens and it's only the first one, but like, so these guys start off as not like naughty list compliant officers or something like that.
Yeah.
And so they're going around and shooting their special dust onto kids or whatever. And they make a big deal about Santa's hat, and like that opening sequence makes it seem like Santa's hat is some kind of magical artifact. And then it becomes a flashback to how you get to that point where they were at, but they never discuss Santa's hat. Like I'm sitting there reading, like, okay, so when did he take Santa's hat, and what, or tell me what Santa's hat does? Why is it important that this happened to Santa's hat? And Santa isn't even wearing that hat in the story. He's wearing a John Deere hat.
It's because it was taken already.
I mean, like that's what I'm saying. I don't know what's going on. Like, this book was more confusing than Hickman's book, and that should tell you something. It's not bad. Like, I like all the characters in the story. I just don't know what's happening. It might just be because I only read the first one. I don't know how many books are in this story. I don't know what a naughty compliance officer is, or whatever they are. All I know is the main characters are elves that get 1 day off a year, and a little racist that it's only the black elves that have the special pixie dust. But I let that go because it. I'll stop.
Because Oz is racist too.
Well, look, it's written and created by a dude that is the color of those elves.
No, it's just like I wanted more information as to what's going on. I don't. Did you already say? Did I miss? Did you say how many books this story is supposed to be?
As far as I know, it's the only one. I even saved, like, I didn't read it till today because I wanted to be fresh when I got it. I'm like, I wanted to wait to review it on the show, but I will ask him because I have a direct line to Steve Jones, and I'll ask him if we're gonna get more, because I definitely want more.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing: the opening sequence where they talk about the hat, if that wasn't there, I think I would have enjoyed this book more, because once you get to the flashback, and that's the rest of the book, that story is interesting and kind of cool, kind of funny and quirky and all that, and enjoyable, except for the fact that the whole time I'm reading it, I'm in the back of my head, I'm trying to figure out how did we get to that point at the beginning? Like, give me info on that. So if you just cut that out, I think it would have been a more enjoyable story. I wouldn't have that, like, constantly gnawing in the back of my head.
Yeah. No, I can definitely
Larry
see.
said it's Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov.
But yeah,
is that Star Trek's Chekhov or like another Chekhov?
No, the author Chekhov. No, the idea is, like, if you they would say if you show a gun in the beginning of a story, like, people are going to be waiting to see that gun like have a purpose or get used at some point in the narrative. And that it is true. Like, I will say that it probably didn't bother me as much as it did Oz, but I was anticipating, like, okay, like, we're gonna learn about Santa's hat.
There's story elements too that, like, so there's a point where Santa is thinking we need to separate, like, says out loud, we need to keep these two separate, the brothers, the main characters, and then several pages later, like, he's made the decision to promote both of them to like make them partners in this new like position. It's just things that don't make sense.
Also, his advisor said, like, there's no separating them. Like, they're thick as thieves, these two.
I think, like, Santa could make it happen.
Not without his hat.
Well, but here's the thing. You said that he's wearing that hat because it's been taken already.
Yeah.
But like,
I think that's just there to show his redneckedness.
Yeah, like, we don't know that. Like, It could have happened, but he could just not be wearing it.
So, and that's the thing. I guess I inferred it because of how it started, and then when you see him, doesn't have a hat, so I assume it's been stolen, and then that's why he would wear a John Deere hat because that's somebody's gift that he decided to not give him. And he's like, "Fuck it, I'll just wear this." And then he's like looking at who's he's gonna send. I need to send these people out there. And then he sees these two, and he's like, "Well, can we separate them? Because I got to send this guy." And he's like, "Nah, they're thick as thieves. Like they don't work apart." And so then he's like, and then he promotes both of them just so that he could get the one to go, and then the sidekick to be the humorous thing. And so that if there was a thing where it's like I need my hat and this is the dude that's gonna do it, because I mean they talk about the dude's pedigree and everything and why he's there, so it makes sense that like he's going on a mission. The naughty list compliance officer thing, they could have explained a little more. But I kind of get like just from how they were trying to get those kids, at the beginning, and how they go in the back matter comic, the little backup stories. Like, okay, this is what they're doing, and they're trying to get, eventually they're gonna get the real mission, which is like, hey, what we really sent you to is for this fucking hat.
Yeah.
But again, you don't say that here. That might be issue 2. Yeah.
I will say that my big issue with the story was I didn't necessarily like the main characters, like the two brothers, like the world I thought was interesting, and the art is cool, and I like the character design, but I felt like those two guys were probably like the least interesting people of all the people that we saw.
It's too much just hanging out with me and Mo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just like, I don't. If it
was 4 of them, Larry would be okay with it.
No, I mean, it's just those two guys. They're just like I don't know. Like there was never a point where I was like, oh man, like I'm so happy I'm reading about them. Like. Honestly, like I'm the little like troll dude in the friggin' underwear, like the troll, like the little short elf, is like, what is his deal? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that guy like that? Like
the Irish caricature.
Just the right, just the tattoos alone is like, why would you get that tattooed on your tummy?
Because he's Irish. So he's gotta have the rainbow that leads to the pot of gold that is his crotch.
Yeah.
But it doesn't actually go to his crotch though, right?
Yeah,
it's like just above it.
I mean, he's still elf.
Well, you gotta let it room to grow, man.
Okay. Well, but like, there were like all these other characters that I kind of was like, I think I'd rather learn a little bit more about them and what their deal was. But what I will say is this, like, that's how I felt about it as far as like the first part. The second part I thought was really interesting, like with them as like the naughty compliance officers, and the little girl that like summons Cthulhu. It's like that story was like it was, and don't get me wrong, it was a short story, but it was like the art we already talked about, like it's cool art, It's like I understand the motivations of the two main characters in that little short story, and it has other characters, like everybody. Like again, there's probably the least interesting people in the story, but they're like it's not focusing on them as much. I guess it's like it's more so like they're the ones that are the agents, like making the things happen. But at the end of the day, you have this little girl on one side, and then you have the serial killer on the other. And that is like, those two guys, like all they really do is kind of bring them together.
I wish the serial killer would have been the child Hitler that we saw in the other short story.
Right. No, and that was awesome. Like I love like that aspect, and that's the thing where I know like the book like sets itself up and saying like, hey, I just want you to know we're gonna be irreverent, and it's gonna be for adults, and it's like the main characters don't give you any of that. Like it's mostly like that. All that stuff happens in like either side characters say something crazy, or they have like the little cutaways, which the cutaways are good. Like you have that kid, like the setup for that, where it's like this kid writing a letter to Santa, telling Santa like, you know, how much of a jerk he is because you just gave me coal and that's all. And it's like, dude, has there ever been a kid that, you know, really that would just get just coal? And then you get that whole thing with the setup, which, you know, like that's awesome. Like that was probably one of the highlights of the book. But again, the main characters have nothing to do with that, right? Like that, like that's like literally like a a Family Guy cutaway, you know. And so, you know, I don't know, like that was I for me like that was where the story kind of failed for me in the first part. Like I feel like if they had done more of what they were trying to do in the second part, or even like what they did in the opening, because even though like the Santa's hat thing doesn't get a follow up in the story, it's like maybe they should have. Like maybe the Santa's hat thing is a story that we really should have been telling, and we just don't get back there. I don't know.
I felt like we'll get there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
I just think
Eventually.
the flashback just went a little long.
Not the way you guys are saying it. It's like, man, you know what? Fuck Kickstarter. I'm not gonna do shit.
I mean, you're gonna have to keep kickstartering it till he gets to the hat.
Yeah.
And that's one of the rewards. He's just gonna send you a hat.
I think that was one of the tiers, but I didn't.
I believe
the
it.
hat.
Yeah,
And a hat.
like a little pin or something. But I didn't do it because, you know, it's hard enough to mail shit, and it's like it's easier digital copy. You know, I would have gone for a physical one for sure, but you know,
I'll tell you what though, when
go ahead.
it's just because I'm married. But the mistletoe party,
Yeah.
like, that seemed like a lot of fun.
hmm
That's something I think in my youth I might have enjoyed.
Yeah.
Although it's me, I wouldn't have been invited.
You'd have the mistletoe instead of the rainbow tattoo.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things in this book, and the fact that early on they tell you, hey, this is for adults. If you're a child, throw it in the garbage. Like you
Right.
reading this kind of like set me at ease as to what I'm about to witness, because it's weird because I want to say it gets raunchy, but not really.
Yeah.
Like, I assume that dude was banging that elf, but you don't really know. Like he was like holding glue and still working. Like yeah, the story itself is good. I like the humor, the ideas behind it. I like. It's just those little things, like, you know, like Lauren
like
said,
how the elves, like there's a little thing where
gun, you know,
like there's a little thing where one of the elves is like, man, who even invented this shitty ass holiday? Like, because they got
and they tell him, well, I think it was Jesus.
Right. Right. That's hilarious.
Aren't we paganists? Yeah, like that. Like when Larry said, like the world itself is an interesting world, and the characters don't match up to him, I think is accurate for Larry. For me, I actually did like them enough to want to read more of their adventures and grow into these roles, you know, because part of it is the one brother kind of he's a late bloomer, so like his growth and stuff, and I want to see that. So it is interesting to me, the characters as well as the world. But I mean, the art was good. It was a well done Kickstarter book for me, because I've gotten some of these and the art is inconsistent, or it takes way too long to come out for whatever reason. You know, there's, you know, so, but like this I would have just bought at the store if I would have seen it. I mean, it's a Christmas themed book. I have another book here that I didn't get to review because we had Thanksgiving week off, but it's called Turkey Day. And it's a horror comic, a Thanksgiving horror comic.
Turkey Day. Dang, that turkey has an eyeball in its mouth.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe next year I'll review that. But you only know if you subscribe, like, and hit the bell. But I mean, I love Christmas movies, and like this Christmas comic is like it's right for the season, you know. I mean, Emily watched Jingle All the Way for the first time yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
So yeah. I would read another issue of
Here's the
this.
thing: if you compare it to like a cheesy Christmas movie that you watch with your family, like how does it rate up in that? Because half of those are dumb too, you know, like those Hallmark movies and shit.
Oh yeah, you don't have to tell me. Like, but you know what? Here's the other thing. Like, I'm not a huge like. I guess I'm not a huge like Christmas media person. Like, I like the
Compared,
holiday.
compared to Bad Santa,
Bad
because
Santa.
it had
Bad
that
Santa.
vibe to me.
Yeah, that's the vibe it has.
I
But it's
don't
like
know, man. I feel like Bad
Bad
Santa's
Santa mixed with Elf.
like, but
If,
it's
if
not
the
as good
bad,
as either
if,
one of those.
if the Bad Santa had the attitude of Elf, you get this book. I feel,
If Elf had the attitude of Bad Santa.
or Bad Santa had if Bad Santa, the main character, had Buddy the Elf's attitude,
He'd be happy go lucky.
Yeah,
but
he'd
he'd still be
good
banging
Santa.
everything.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Okay.
forgot about the banging. Yeah, definitely the banging.
Larry closed his eyes at those parts.
Yeah. It's like Jesus wept. So
Yeah, he did. Right out of his penis.
We're talking about Christmas. It has nothing to do with Jesus.
Did you
Yeah,
just
that's
talk about
true.
Jesus' penis?
Oh, we all saw it on the cross.
Okay. So are we look, I would like to try Frosty's frostbite condoms just to see what's there.
Oh, the little ads in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would give that a shot just to see.
That mistletoe underwear, though,
Yeah.
both scented and unscented. Like,
Yeah.
See if I can bring
I-
that up real quick.
I was looking at my phone like, what's
And the funny part was that they listed as flavors. It's like flavors scented and unscented. It's like what? That made me laugh really hard actually because I was just like, that's so weird for the to be like flavors.
For a
scented
second, I
and
thought those were real ads. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, wait a minute. And then you actually read them like, no, okay, those are a joke. They have to be a joke. But I mean, look, we live in a world where vagina scented candles exist. So who knows?
By Larry's Boo.
by my boo.
She makes
That ain't
them.
my boo. Gee, that ain't my boo.
They smell like her.
Frosty.
Yeah, that's very strange.
Big love oolong tea. Oolong tea, that cracked me up. You don't get it, Larry. Don't laugh.
It feels realistic because you get like the mask.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
And that's actually Sebastian Jones right there on the left.
All masked up.
Yeah. Frostbite condoms. Scented
Yeah.
or odorless. And then it goes back into
Yeah. Right. That made me laugh too. Because it was scented and odorless. Like, what? Like that doesn't it doesn't make sense to
like you
have
want
a flavor to
odorless,
be
right?
scented. Huh?
You want the odorless, right? Because you got to put your own scent.
No, you need the scent, man. You need
Like,
you need to know you're down there when you're down there, you know what I mean?
I mean, I'll know I'm down there. It's just,
I'm like-
do I
I'm
want
like-
the smell of bacon?
Look, no, I'm like Toucan Sam with that, man. I follow my nose.
Oh man. Okay, I think it's time to rate this book.
Oh, just because of the Toucan Sam joke, man. Oh, fuck you, man. Nah, one last thing, you know, I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up, but this book was made in part because of the people that took a chance on it, you know.
Right.
they get mentioned on the naughty list.
Oh, I did see that. Is your name on there?
So that's the naughty list right there. And yeah, my name is right there.
He clipped it.
Yeah.
Moses Magnum, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
I
on
love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not
so,
mad at it. I'm not
Yeah.
mad at it. Mo definitely belongs on the naughty list.
Yeah.
He
So,
made it happen.
I think one of the tiers were like you be the dude. Like I think the serial killer guy, the girl, the kid with the hat, like those were actual backers too.
Oh wow.
At a certain tier, you get to be in the comic or as an elf, like you could be one of the elf, like you could be one of the dudes. I think the dude that had the dust was an actual dude that was a backer, like the dudes that were snorting the dust.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
How much would it take to make you show up there?
I don't want to say like that, but I mean,
look, I'll peel off a couple of bucks.
Why don't you give them to me and then I'll hand it to Steve and
because you'll spend it on coke and hookers.
Well, no, I mean,
I'm sorry, you're a married man, just coke.
I mean,
but twice as much.
Well, hookers are for married men, right?
They charge extra if the wife shows up, though.
Oh wow!
I've heard. I've been told.
Too late.
No, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can. Yeah, I remember from what I remember, the tier was like $100, $200, and you'd be in it like as a featured dude. You know,
we need a Cthulhu Mo.
Cthulhu Mo.
Matholo.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that doesn't work. Mathulu is better. Mathulu.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I gotta hit him up to see what the second one's come, because I did enjoy it, and as far as rating goes, I give it 5 like extra wet, extra sticky candy canes.
It's nasty.
Is
so nasty.
Larry's licking his lips.
No.
To get issue 2, is that another Kickstarter or is that already?
I would hope he wouldn't. And if it's like a yearly thing, like he's been working on issue 2 already, and then just does a Kickstarter just to like, printing costs and shit like that. Like I wouldn't be mad at it. Like if it's a yearly book, I wouldn't be like, I don't want to get wait 10 years because what if I get hit by a bus or something, But but I wouldn't be like, if they would give me complete stories each Christmas, I wouldn't mind doing a Kickstarter each year for that, But yeah, I don't know. I think it probably would be a Kickstarter. But
I'm sure you'll get some kind of email or something that tells you how to get issue 2.
Well, and yeah, and I probably got it, but it's so long ago too that I didn't back it yet, because you might have sent it while this hadn't come out yet, and it's like, well, I haven't even gotten this. Why am I going to do number 2? That happens a lot, especially since I'm on Kickstarter after I've been smoking or drinking, Like, because there's been a few where it's like, I haven't even gotten issue 1. Like, let me wait. I know it happens with the Lady Death stuff a lot. Like, I haven't gotten my rewards yet. I haven't even read it, and it's like, and they're already trying to sell me the next one, which that's how I bought the other one too, the La Bruja or whatever, the witch chick. I hadn't even finished the Lady Death, and I paid for that one too. But yeah, I mean, well, I gotta look it up. I guess maybe off the air, because it's not fun watching me scroll through my.
Oh. Yeah, let's not look it up now.
Oz.
Okay, I won't.
What would you rate Ruining Christmas?
Out of 5?
Yeah.
How many sticky, wet and sticky candy canes would you give it?
As close to 4 as we can get without actually hitting 4. Because I'm not not completely impressed by the art, but I mean, it's done on purpose, and it serves this purpose. Like the art is representative of the story. The only knocks I really have against this book are what I talked about, where they show me a gun and then never discuss it ever again, ever in the whole rest of the book. And when I guess they would be considered backup stories, when the two stories after the main stories, like I want to see those stories more than I care about what you just told me, kind of is like another knock, because I don't think I'm gonna get those stories. I think he's gonna go back to the original and at some point get to that damn gun that I don't know why it was there to begin with. So I don't want to completely give it a 4, but it's not bad. It's good. It's well drawn. It's well written, sort of. You know, it's worth picking up during the holiday season, even though I don't think you can, because it was a Kickstarter from a year ago.
You might still be able to get it like on Comixology or something now, wherever you can get Stranger Comics digitally or even physically. But yeah, there's another thing that happened here. Let's see. I didn't get my other rewards. I had other rewards other than
Oh,
the
so
book.
3.5 then. It just lost.
No. I just didn't. I didn't open. I didn't open it. There's a Dropbox here.
Oh, it's like all digital.
Yeah, there were wallpaper packs of more art, and I wish I would have done that before because, yeah, because like I would have showed you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
So as for me, I give Ruining Christmas 3.5. It was good. Like I like the art. I like the world. I liked the second story more than I did the first one. But you know, it's like I didn't read it and feel like I wasted my time or anything like that. It's just, you know, it had some story elements that worked and others that I felt like, you know, could have been more interesting. So, you know, with that said, I'm gonna give it a 3.5. And you know, I would probably pick up the next issue just to kind of see, you know, see where it goes, see if it sticks to that same format or if it does something different. See if Santa's hat comes back.
Yeah.
Cool. So, gents, do you all say again?
Is that time?
Yeah, it is that time. It is that time. Let's do this.
Hold on. Now I'm just fucking with you.
All right. Another show in the books.
Yeah.
Oz, give me some final thoughts, man.
We'll see what the popcorn does to me.
Uh-oh. Because you ate the tainted popcorn.
Yeah, it's probably
It's
tainted.
tempered with.
We'll see.
The seals are broken. The seals are broken. All right. Black Compare, what's up?
She has a
final. It is. There it is. Final thoughts from Black and Pat. Appreciate you.
And Hecht has final thoughts as well.
Do you guys have a show next week? We
Yeah.
do. Jay wants to do a show next week.
We are? Okay.
Yeah.
I might be wasted.
Why is the camera still on me? Like,
because I'm trying to see what the popcorn does.
Your observation, Oz. Your observation.
I might do the show from a bar next week. I have my portable setup. So yeah.
I might have to do that with you. There it is.
No, we're having the company party at work. So.
Oh, wait, what? Wait, where?
It's just me and my barber.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. like where are y'all gonna go? Oh, Oh well,
don't know.
I guess you don't want to. You don't want to say on the air so that your party gets rushed by all these fans. I get it.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right. Final thoughts, Mose Magna.
It's look. I thought this was the last show of the year, so yeah. Apparently, we're doing one next week, so I'll say that for that. But in the meantime, look, it's been 2021. It's been crazy, and it's been hard for a lot of people. But it's not going to get any easier. Oh, that's what I was going to say next year. Damn.
There's 2 Wednesdays before the end of the year.
Yeah, but we're not going to do New Year one, are we? Are we doing that too?
It's like 3 days before. New Year's is on Saturday.
Traditionally, we always do. We take we take the holidays off. So
yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that one in between because I would be shocked.
Yeah,
but
and the only reason we didn't do the Thanksgiving one was because Comic-Con, because usually that's Larry's birthday show.
We still did one at Comic-Con.
At Comic-Con, yeah.
The lost episode.
The lost episode.
Lost. Oh my god.
Yeah.
We have a lot of lost episodes. Those are always good.
There's still a bunch of episodes on like Scott's computer that he has in some
right. The random.
Why is it lost? Because I have that memory card. Is it?
No, it's lost because there's no like real angle. Like it didn't come out right. It just didn't. It wasn't. The audio is not there, and we do need to hire a production team when we do these things.
I mean, I thought we had a camera person, and then that person didn't do anything.
Yeah,
because she
got happens. It happens.
She got high. Because she got high.
And drank my beer.
For the entire Fantastic Four, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. We'll be back next week. So until then, I guess we'll see you. All right. Later.